Connecting with Culture, Indigenous Australian Experiences. Assignment 2, Group Debate. Presented by Vinitha Wajaysurya, Caitlin McLaughlin, and Benjamin Power. The following presentation does not represent Vinitha, Caitlin, or Benjamin's views and has been created for educational purposes only. We'd first like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather and pay our respects to their elders, traditional, past and present. I extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Our topic, the date of January 26th as Australia Day should be changed. We are for.
Australia is one of the most diverse communities in the world. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are the first Australians who were here for thousands of years prior to colonization. The Indigenous Australians have lived here for more than 65,000 years. They have helped make this country unique and have brought it a special identity. Captain Arthur Phillip and First Fleet's arrival in 1788. After Indigenous people suffered from health problems, lost their language, their cultural knowledge, and human rights because of the government actions and policies. We do value Australian Day, but not on 26th of January each year. There are many reasons why January 26th and Australia Day are controversial, painful, and traumatic for the Indigenous population. Australia Day should not be on a day where the oppression of Aboriginal began. It's quite the wonder of celebrating Australian Day on 26th of January, because the day on 1788, Captain Arthur Phillip and colonists fixed their Union flag on this historical land. British colonists claimed the country as terra nullius, a place which denied the Aboriginal people their humanity and can be seen as a root cause of all the inhumanity. After the First Fleet's arrival, Aboriginal people lost their future, language, culture, knowledge, and human rights. The stolen generation brought them more harm, including population. Before First Fleet arrival, 460,000 Aboriginal people were here, and now only 3%. There are more suitable days in which would unite the Australian people than January 26th. We should not celebrate the day where the Aboriginals began their hardships.
So January 26th does not unite the Australian people. Looking at the days other countries hold their national day, we see that the US hold their day on July 4th, which is the day which the Declaration of Independence was signed to be independent of British control. In South Africa, it's hosted on April 27th, which is the day their first non-racial elections were held. Canada celebrates on July 1st, the day in which the separate colonies of Canada, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia were united. Australia, however, chose January 26th, the day the First Fleet from Britain arrived in Botany Bay and began a long process of colonising our country, a day when we were not known as Australia. In fact, up until 1880, the 6 colonies had little to no contact with each other and were governed as if they were separate countries until Federation in 1901. As Ken Wyatt, Minister for Indigenous Affairs, states, Australia Day should be a day that brings together all Australians to celebrate Indigenous, British and multicultural history in a day of unity with a determination to build a stronger and more rewarding Australia for all. Even though Ken Wyatt disagrees that the day should be changed, he makes a point. Australia Day should be a day of unity, which symbolises a day of people of all cultures coming together to celebrate Australia. January 26th, however, makes little to no sense, as it is a day which not only brings pain to Aboriginals, but it is also a day which does not unite all Australians, nor does it bring them together.
To Aboriginal people, January 26th is a day of mourning. The viewing of Australia Day, as it's been celebrated since 1935, has insulted and continues to insult Aboriginal people. The way in which Australian people have and continue to celebrate 26th of January leaves wounds on the already wounded story. It shows lack of empathy and compassion for what Aboriginal people went through and continue to go through. To celebrate Australia Day as it stands on January 26 can be viewed as ignoring genocide. Over the last 83 years, Aboriginals have protested on the 26th of January and called it a day of mourning. These brave individuals stood up for what they believed is true and right. From here, the confidence of First Nation Australians rallied behind them. Since January 26, 1938, there have been protests and rallies for the date to be changed. Survival Day rallies continue to proceed around Australia on the 26th of January to change the date. People of Indigenous and non-Indigenous descent unite together in the belief that the date must be changed. It is with rallies such as this that it shows that together we can unite and support the true owners of this land. It is not that we do not believe Australia Day should not be celebrated, but it is that we believe that the date should be changed. Australia, as we now know it, has grown to be a country accepting of all who enter. Although we are still a young, westernised country, we are enriched with the history of storytellers, naturists, spiritualists, and a depth of wisdom. We have already decided as a country that Terra Nullius should not have been titled to Australia. It is time to change the date. If we do not, we are contradicting our decision in which we made in 1992. We owe it to our true owners of the land to support what is rightfully theirs. Australia Day is to be celebrated as a day of unity, not a day which has blood on the hands of its history.
So our National Day, Australia Day, should be celebrated, but not on a day of mourning for many of our population, nor should it be celebrated on a day in which as a country we were divided. We believe a much more suitable day could be May 27th, 1967, as on this day the Aboriginal people were included on the Constitution. It was the day when Australia became truly united as a country, a day in which we chose to become a more inclusive and accepting Australia, and a day in which as a country we came together. Traditions like a game of backyard cricket could be replaced with a game of backyard football, a game which would truly represent Australian culture. January 26, however, does have its significance. It should not be forgotten, but it shouldn't be celebrated in the way we do now. It is a day of mourning, and the day should be remembered similar to the way in which we commemorate Remembrance Day.